So we just discussed how we can rewrite our luminosity in terms of computer world language. So we have that actually right here. So we have that luminosity is m to the fourth power. So notice that we can't write it out just like we did on the board because our computer can't read m to the fourth power. So it uses this function, POW, which I'm assuming stands for power. Yep. And we're telling it in the first part, m, so that is the variable we want it to act on. And we have 4 telling it we want m to go to the fourth power.
Yep. Yeah, you could do like m times m times m times m, but that would be ridiculous.
Yes, especially if you start to get things to like the 6th power or something. Yeah. You don't want to keep writing m. So we'll just use this function. So what I'm going to do is copy it to the clipboard. And I'm going to replace where we have over here luminosity equal to 1. I'm going to get rid of that because we don't want all our stars to be like the sun. That's kind of boring. And I'm going to put Control V to paste luminosity in there. Just doing that so it'll be all flush. So we have to tell it what m is. So in this part, we're telling it that m is a random number between 0.25 and 2, which in computer world means it's going to be a quarter of the mass of the sun up to twice the mass of the sun. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right under here where we have defined all our variables. And now let's see if it actually runs. It should.
There we go. That's pretty.
It is pretty. That is much better than from what we started.
Yeah, so you get these bright ones here that are like super bright. And then there's dim ones and there's medium ones. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, much more realistic. It's not just an even dim or bright star field.
Yeah, you can try to make out your own constellations, you know.
So now that we have created all of these different stars on here, we can actually get the data, so the different masses that were generated, their position, and just different properties of these different stars, and see what we can figure out with all this data.
Right, the thing that we want to think about, and the reason why it's interesting to look at this in the spreadsheet is that, you know, these stars here, like these bright ones, here's the question. Are they bright because they're close to us, or are they bright because they are emitting lots of energy per second? You know? Because it could be that they're close to us and that's why they're bright. Or it could be that they're far away, but they're just creating this extraordinary amount of energy per second. And just from looking at it, is it possible to tell which one it is?
It is not possible.
Nope, because the brightness depends on the luminosity, depends on the distance, and so you really kind of have to break it down to figure out one or the other. So to do that, there's some code we can add, and what that code is going to do is so first we have to save the values. And so what it's going to do is it's going to save each star to kind of a database thing. So Danielle's going to...
Yep, I'm just going to paste it right under where it says print. That way, when it generated that star, it's going to save that star's brightness and luminosity, and also the mass, its distance, and its x and y coordinate.
So yeah, we're going to do that, but it's not going to do anything until we modify the if statement to actually save the table. So it's going to add stars to the table, but it won't actually give us a box to download that file until we stick that into the if statement. So Danielle's going to copy that, stick that into the code.
So I'm going to copy that to the code, or to the clipboard, and we have to put it inside of this if statement. because once it finished generating all of them, we want to save them all, and we can't do that if it's outside of the if statement. So I'm just going to paste it in here just to have it flush, because I like it. And we can run this one more time and save our data. So let me do that. Click play. It's generating all these stars again. And
there we go.
There it is.
So I probably just want to save the file for right now.
Save file.
Yeah, click OK and just save it wherever. The other fun thing that we can do, so in a minute we're going to jump over to this spreadsheet, we're going to analyze that data. Before we do, here's a fun thing. You can right click on the screen here and do Save Image As, and that will save a PNG file of your star field.
Stars.
And so that's kind of an important thing to do because the data you just downloaded, it's important to sort of hold on to that image because if you run this again, you're going to lose that image. So now we have that saved, we can look at it later. So let's go to the spreadsheet then. And so we're using Google Sheets. You can use whatever that you feel most comfortable with. So your favorite program?
Mine is Excel. I just downloaded Microsoft Excel on my computer and I use it.
Excel's good. My favorite is LibreOffice, which is free, open source software there. But a lot of people use Google Sheets, so we're going to use Google Sheets. So we go to File, Open, and we want to find where we downloaded that thing. So we're going to have to download it from the computer. I can take over on this if you want to.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to switch. So this will just take a second. Upload. There it is. Upload.
Oh, upload.
There you go. So file from your computer. And I think it's this one. This is the most recent one. All right, so there we go. Uploading it. And it should show up in a second. And there we go. Okay. So what are the different columns here?
So we have, all of these are the properties of the stars that we created. So in the first column, we see we have the brightness. In the second, luminosity. In the third, the mass that it generated. Z, the distance, and then the Y and X coordinate. So these are just, if you wanted to find this particular star, you could just look at the X and Y coordinate, pull up that image that we saved, and try to see if you could find it.
Yep. So, do you want to do the number crunching?
Sure.
Okay.
I can do that.
So Daniela has to do a lot of data analysis in her research. So this is bread and butter for her.